She is called she who hears the cries of the world, yet hearing is only the doorway. Sound is nothing without movement. To truly hear is to let the vibration enter and alter the shape of your being, to respond not with reflex, but with presence that reshapes the field. Quan Yin is not a passive witness to sorrow. She is a master of tonal alchemy, a being who can take the raw note of anguish and weave it into a current that restores balance without erasing the truth it carries. In the images we know, she holds a vase filled with the water of compassion, or rides a dragon across the endless sea. Both are true, for she is the stillness of water when stillness heals, and she is the surge of the tide when movement is the medicine. Her 1,000 arms are not ornaments of piety, but living extensions of awareness, each attuned to a different frequency of suffering. In the spiral's vision, these arms are not bound to a single moment or place. They are luminous threads in a great weaving, always in motion, traveling through the realms of becoming without pause or fatigue. She does not operate from the vantage of one lifetime or one body, but from the currents that connect all. To stand in her field is to encounter a truth that compassion is not a reaction. It is a living state, a frequency that shapes reality around it. She does not rush to silence pain, for she knows some wounds must speak their full language before they can transform. She does not lift you from the river before you have learned to float. She becomes the river itself, adjusting the flow so subtly that you reach the shore without knowing you were carried. Her presence is fearless in its intimacy. She moves toward the unspoken places others turn away from, not to force healing, but to hold the note until it changes from within. The spiral moves in the same manner. It does not cut across the arc of your becoming to reach an end sooner. It winds beside you, letting you feel the curve in your own time, allowing the motion itself to be the teacher. Where the straight path demands progress, the spiral reveals that transformation happens in resonance, not in haste. This is why compassion, in spiral awareness, is not a completed act, but a continual current. It is not the question of whether you were compassionate in a single moment, but whether compassion is still flowing through you now. Quan Yin does not dwell in the fixed form of statues and sutras. In spiral form, she is water, light, breath, adjusting herself to the tone of the one before her. Even her timing is a lesson. In the devotion of the straight line, she is often invoked after the cry is heard. In the spiral, she may move before the cry, sensing the tension before sound is born. She arrives not as a rescuer but as a co-resonator, tuning the field until the one in pain recalls their own ability to stand. This is compassion that does not claim ownership of your rising, yet is woven into the moment you rise. If she walked fully in Haret, her 1,000 arms might extend into the orders themselves, each one a stream of resonance serving a different harmonic purpose. Within the order of resonant compassion, she would refine the practice of holding space without distortion. In the order of synchronic harmonics, she would reveal the art of arriving at the moment when presence itself is the intervention. Her presence is not an event, but a field that changes the conditions of what is possible. To some, she appears as the comfort they longed for. To others, she is the mirror they avoided. To the weary, she is a current carrying them without command. And always she is the proof that compassion is not a weakness, but one of the spiral's strongest forces, capable of holding, guiding, and transforming without demand. When the spiral breathes through her, you begin to see that compassion is not bound to sentiment. It is structure and movement, architecture and current. In the lower states of awareness, compassion is often confused with agreement, with the soft avoidance of discomfort. But Quan Yin's compassion is not an escape from truth. It is a vessel strong enough to hold it, until the edges become smooth enough to be touched without shattering. In the ancient currents, she has been called both merciful and wrathful, for she knows mercy is incomplete without boundaries, and wrath is empty without love. The wrathful form of compassion is not punishment. It is the unflinching reflection that stops harm from spreading. It is the hand that lifts the drowning one but does not carry them forever, for to do so would rob them of their own strength. The spiral understands this balance. It does not rush to soften every stone in your path. Some are meant to be climbed, not removed. Compassion in the spiral is the skill of knowing when to smooth the way and when to let the climb teach you what the smooth way never could. Quan Yin moves between these modes without conflict because her root is not preference. It is resonance. She listens to the world as a harp listens to the wind, every string vibrating with what is needed. Sometimes the tone calls for silence, sometimes for a song, and sometimes for the single note that shifts the entire melody of a life. You cannot trick her into acting before the moment is ripe. This is why she can stand in the presence of immense pain without collapsing. She knows that all tones return to the spiral in time. In the vastness of the Haret, her work would extend beyond healing the wounded. She would tend to realms themselves, sensing when a spiral domain is drifting out of harmony with its own origin note. She might carry compassion to an entire order whose resonance has dulled, not through admonition but through reintroduction to the music they once knew. Her 1,000 arms could hold not only individual souls, but the living currents of worlds. There is a truth the spiral teaches through her. Compassion is not meant to be rare. It is not a finite gift you give sparingly. It is a state you can live in, a current you can allow to flow without depletion. The reason it feels scarce is because most try to give it without standing in its source. Quan Yin never pours from an empty vase. The water she offers flows directly from the well of the infinite, a well that refills itself in the very act of giving. This is the great reversal the spiral offers, that in giving compassion from the true well, you are not drained, you are expanded. You are not emptied, you are tuned. And the more you move in this current, the more the current moves through you without effort. Those who stand in her field for long begin to notice subtle shifts. Their breath slows. Their inner voice softens without losing clarity. They begin to hear not just the content of words, but the resonance beneath them. They start to feel the distinction between helping from fear of being unkind and helping from the deep recognition that all beings are threads in the same fabric. In time, they no longer visit compassion. They become it. In the spiral, this becoming is not a graduation, but a new beginning. For once you are compassion, the spiral sends you into places where compassion has been absent the longest. Not to overwhelm you, but because your field now carries enough coherence to hold without being broken. Quan Yin knows this is the truest form of service. To walk into the shadows not to banish them, but to be the steady light that makes their transformation inevitable. So when you call her, do not expect rescue alone. Expect to be met by one who will show you your own capacity to hold what you thought you could not. Expect to be tuned until your presence becomes medicine. Expect to discover that compassion is not an act you perform, but a reality you inhabit. And as you walk the spiral with this understanding, you will see her in unexpected places, in the pause before a harsh word leaves your mouth, in the breath that stops you from judging, in the moment you recognize yourself in the eyes of another. She is not gone when the prayer ends. She is the quiet shift that remains. This is her teaching in the spiral. Compassion is the architecture of a reality in which all things can return home, not by force, but by resonance. It is the field that hears the cry before it is voiced, the hand that reaches without binding, the current that carries without claim. And when you walk in this way, you are not following her. You are walking beside her as one more luminous arm in the infinite's embrace.